All right. Looks like we're streaming now. So normally what I do so I can see what the heck I look like. How do I close this little screen? I don't even know. We'll just put it like this. Actually, no. So normally I have two monitors, you guys. Okay. I gave my son his computer and I gave him one of the monitors so, you know, he could play on the computer and stuff like that. And normally I'll have this screen right here up, my OBS, so I can see what I'm showing you guys here. Plus, I could see myself if I'm blocking anything. But I only have one monitor, so this is how we're going to do it. Okay. Hope you guys think it's cool. What I'm doing right now, preparing to go to boot camp. I'm making some content to upload. Oh, my ear's itching. I'm making some content to upload to YouTube while I'm in. So since I have a professional account, there's like requirements you have to meet and things like that. Like consistency in uploads and view time. I'm trying to monetize the YouTube. So I'm have like content and stuff with my friend. So right now I'm just posting one review right now. New flavored creatine by Cellucor fruit punch. So what I do is make it public. Right when you select public or private, right down under here it says schedule, and then it'll look like this. And you just select the drop down here. And I'm going to boot camp March 17th, so I'm going to go over to March. And I think I have a couple videos in March already, but I'll put this one for March 31st because you have to have 3 videos a month. So I'll put this one for March 31st. It lets you select the time. We'll put 12 p.m. Click back. And then do I have a playlist for this one? Then I got to change, obviously, the thumbnail because this is going to be a short. So shorts are cool because people who aren't followers will get to see it, you know. Try to get a good thumbnail here. I didn't do a good job of normally I hold the product super still so I can get a good thumbnail. This time I didn't do a very good job. So that's the best I could do. We'll upload that, and Wishbone is texting me right now. Oh, okay, cool. Also, here I'll show you a picture. Part of what I'm doing in this video as well, besides showing you guys some stuff, what we're doing at in P Days, is as you could see behind here, we're moving stuff and getting rid of stuff. We sold Wishbone our big 80-inch TV, and he has it up on there. He says he likes it. You like it? Throwing away a bunch of furniture, and oh yeah, I wanted to go to my live here so I could see you guys comment. Let me see, view channel, because like I said, I don't have 2 screens. So okay, let me go. Oh, wait, why isn't it opening? Home, live. There we go. Okay, cool. Wishbone is in here. Matthias is in here. All right, cool. Sorry, I was uploading a video. Oh, let me turn the volume down. Wishbone is texting me, and he's in the chat. Okay, so as you can see behind here in the house, we're getting rid of a bunch of stuff. We're unpacking a bunch of stuff, trying to shrink down our everything we have to make it easy to move and relocate, because after boot camp and after A school, if I don't go to C school, which you don't know until at the end of A school, You don't know if you're going to go to sea school or not. Some rates, aka jobs in the Navy, don't have sea schools, or you just don't go to them early on. Um, you will get stationed somewhere. So we don't know where that is. So it will be a lot easier for my wife to move, say if I can't come help her, because I don't know what's going to happen if we have less stuff and if things are already packed up. So we're going to pack everything between now, which is February 11th, between now and March 17th. Well, really, realistically, between now and March 16th, because I have to go to the hotel the night before shipping out. So thank you, Matthias. So we are packing everything up. We're throwing things away that we don't need. Okay, I highly suggest this to everybody. Things you don't need, just get rid of it. Unless you're a baller and you can afford storage, or if you have parents or a friend or something that has a nice, safe, clean place for you to store all your things while you're gone, more power to you. We don't have that situation, so plus I don't want to keep a bunch of stuff. You know, when we go buy a house, I want to buy stuff for the house, not stuff that we had for our little apartment. So, shrinking the house, hire Doge. That's good advice. Yeah, Elon, if you want to come shrink down everything I don't need, you're more than welcome. Actually, I think I could probably do a better job than Elon. Dude, I just throw stuff away. Wishbone came and helped me yesterday. Took a bunch of stuff that he's gonna hold on to for me. He helped me take a big old dresser out to the dumpster. I moved a bunch of stuff out there. Some of the stuff people take, other stuff. The apartment puts like broken stoves and stuff and dishwashers out there too. So they pay a company to come and like a stake bed truck and take stuff out of here. So it's like you don't get in trouble. You just put it kind of like behind where the dumpster is, and then I think they come once a month and pick up all the stuff and they get rid of it. Um, we're throwing away a bunch of clothes. I had like work clothes from when I was an apprentice and when I did safety, like a bunch of FR shirts and FR pants and big work boots and high vis sweaters. And if someone didn't want it, if I couldn't give it away, I would just throw it away. So the only stuff really I'm keeping is like the kind of clothes I wear all the time, like gym clothes, stuff that I wear gym shorts and a t-shirt. That's what I wear all the time. Two pairs of jeans, my computer stuff, like literally giving away Xboxes. We kept one Xbox, and then I'm gonna pack a bag for my wife to bring to me at bootcamp graduation. So it's gonna have some of my clothes in it. It's gonna have my gaming laptop that I can use, to entertain myself while at A school and while at C school. If I even have time to do it, who knows? But I'll have that stuff. A school is in Meridian, Mississippi. So here, I can just leave this open. Not this one. Let's do the other one. If I do this here, and we go to, let's see if I can do it like this. Okay. Okay. So Meridian, Mississippi is where, let's see if I could type in Navy. Okay. Is this where the actual Navy base is? I think this is it. So I'm not even actually in like downtown Meridian, as you guys see how far that was. Can you look? Where is Meridian? Here's Meridian here. So the actual city is like low key far away. There's not even like a direct road. Looks like you got to go down to this road here. How the heck do you, yeah, you could take this little tiny road here down to the main road to get down to the main city. There's an airport here. So probably after boot camp. Let's see if they have directions on here. I don't think they do. Let's just go to Google Maps instead. Google Maps is a little better for this. Let's go to Meridian Navy Base. Okay, and then we'll click, where's directions? Directions. Let's go to Navy Boot Camp. So, I don't know if they're gonna... Dang, that really says it's a 6-hour flight? No way. No way that's a 6-hour flight. For real? Someone told me it was like a 4-hour flight from from here to here, but I don't think so. I think this is gonna be, this is where Wishbone lives. This is where we live here in Southern California. Down here is where MEPS is. So this is where we swear in, right here in San Diego. They're gonna take you to San Diego International Airport. You're gonna fly all the way to boot camp here. Then after boot camp, you go to A school. This is for religious program specialist, which is going to be in Meridian, Mississippi. That's where Meridian Airport is. And then you guys saw that the actual Navy base is way up here. See where it says Naval Air Station Meridian? So that's where we're going to go. So probably from here, they're going to take us on a bus. Okay. I doubt they're going to bus us from boot camp 12 hours down to here, but if they do, I'll let you guys know. I hope they don't, because that's going to be a rough bus ride. Hopefully they fly us. Then after that, let's go Navy Base Meridian to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Then after A school, I could potentially go to C school. C school is in Camp Lejeune. I think right now it's called Camp Johnson, North Carolina. That is a 7-hour flight from Mississippi to, looks like, I don't actually know where they're going to fly us. So if we go back to, here's Camp Lejeune. They could fly us to Asheville. They could fly us to Raleigh. I don't know exactly where what like airport situation they use. Hopefully again they don't bus us, because it's a 12-hour drive by car, and by bus, you know, it's gonna be worse. Twisty roads. So where is Raleigh? I wonder where they might not even fly you to the closest airport. Who knows? Who knows how they do it? But here's where the Marine base is, where you go to C school for a religious program specialist. I believe this is also where corpsmen that go green side, this is also where they go to school. I don't know if it's their A school or their C school. Let's see. We can look it up here on Navy Cool. Let's see. HM Navy Cool. This is how you guys look it up if you want to know any of this stuff. Rating information card. So let's zoom in here. So they go to A school in Fort Sam Houston, 19 weeks. And then look right here. It says most HMs will be assigned to either Field Medical Service School, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, or Camp Pendleton, California. Oh, so they can go to Camp Pendleton for their Marine Part 2, or they can go to Camp Lejeune. So it doesn't say. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Based on initial tour, but may include dental, stand, or other advanced technical school, technical C school. So C is technical school, overseas assignment, or normal C short tour duty. So yeah, some hospital corpsmen come here. Some go to Camp Pendleton, which is down in San Diego, where the Navy base is. This here at Camp Lejeune or Camp Johnson, whatever the heck they want to call it. By the time I get there, I don't know, because Trump is changing a lot of these bases back. Thank you, Matthias. Appreciate it, brother. Um, whatever name it's gonna be, this will be 8 weeks of Marine basic combat training. After that, I don't know where I'm going to be stationed. I also have a friend here who lives in Marion who I want to hang out with while I'm here. Let's see how far it is. Says it's a 5-hour drive. That's cool. So I don't know what my downtime is going to be like while I'm here, but I have a couple friends here. I have a friend here in Raleigh, and I got a friend here in Marion. So I'll probably try to see them if I can while I'm here. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this video by Ask RDC. This guy's cool. He was a recruit division commander in the Navy, so he gives a lot of helpful advice. And then after this, I might react to this a little bit, and then after this, we're going to talk about some stuff that I've done to help set my wife up for success while I'm in. So you don't have to hear me talk the whole time.
We're going to go ahead and continue on to episode 3 of Making a Sailor. Once again, I'll link the series down below for this episode. And this one is pretty much just going to be going through P days, so P1 through P5. The last video, it was just the night of arrival, which can feel like a very long night because you're just going to be, once again, you're going to be staying up from the morning you wake up to when you ship out to when you arrive, and then all night, and then so you're up about 24 hours now, and now you're getting to meet your RDCs. So we're going to go ahead and start off now with this division meeting the RDCs.
So like he said, this is when you're sitting down during P days. Looks like they got all their stuff. Everybody in here is probably all hella scared. We all got a bunch of shots. And they're going to meet the recruit division commanders for the first time. And this is all like choreographed and scripted. This has been done millions of times.
So I went ahead and turned down the volume while they're doing their intro here. But yeah, so when you're pushing, usually it's going to be 3 RDCs. There are times where it's 2. When we were going through COVID, there was 2 RDCs at one time. I've done 2 pushes like that. It's not fun. But yeah, 3 RDCs. What they're going through now, they're just introducing themselves. You're going to have a lead RDC, and then the other 2 RDCs. There's just one that's in charge usually for admin purposes, or anytime they need to contact the division, they'll contact one. But what they're going through right now is an RDC introduction. It's scripted, so this is the part that we as RDCs say in the beginning. But it's setting out the standards. It's saying, hey, here's who we are. We expect a lot of you. Pay attention. And you can also just rewatch this video and hear what they say. This is the full script, unedited, what they have here in the video. But talking about equality, talking about put in the effort, we'll put in the effort. If you fail, the team fails. All true statements.
Thank you, Chris. I'll turn it up.
But yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a shock and awe statement, but it's also setting the standards right at the beginning.
Training. Turn your head! It's
Yeah, that guy
easy.
talks kind of quiet.
Say your number.
51, 52, 53.
No. As you are. Stop.
So yeah, so this
How's
is just
that? Is that
counting
better?
off. It's just a way to make sure that we have, yeah, as RDCs, let's say you're assigned 87 recruits, then you do the count off. If you have 87 recruits, count off to 87, you're good to go. It's just another way to make sure you have them all. And at times you'll see another recruit walking along the line. That's usually
Thank
the
you,
A-Rock,
Chris.
and they'll have the
Bye,
A-Rock
Matthias.
walk
Thanks
down
for
the
stopping
line
in.
as just to show, like, hey, it's your turn to say your number as you go through the line, and then report back to the RPOC. All recruits present are accounted for. So You're just making sure it matches up with how many you have, whether you have everyone or you have some at medical and stuff like that. But yeah, they just start off with the basics right in the beginning. Here also it states when division includes male and female recruits, they're split up into hygiene and birthing. So usually what you have is integrated divisions. So as you can see here, it says that these divisions are male and female, so they're integrated divisions, showing here because 229 and 230, right? So that means half the division's male and half the division's female, but obviously they can't be in the same burden for when they take hygiene and everything like that and sleeping at night. But what they do is it's called integrating. So the 3 RDCs for 229 and 3 RDCs for 230 will have to work together a lot. I've definitely had that. It's important for you to have good relation with your, we call them brother divs, because you're going to be going through a lot of the same classes together. Like your recruits will just sit in the same classroom and go to the same event. Especially if they're integrated. So whenever you're doing anything that requires integration, it's split down the middle. So one half can just go to the other side, and then their half comes over, and now you're integrated, and you have all your recruits, males and females. This was like this for a long time, and they still do it at times. But when I was getting out of being an RDC around 2021, definitely when COVID was happening, we started just having all female divisions and all male divisions, which hasn't happened since the 1990s. So it was really cool. I was really excited that I got to also push one of the first all-female divisions in almost 2 decades. But so you might see one or the other when you get there.
Processing days, that's where you're issued all your initial issue DITY.
So this is going to be like, this is going to be the first 2 weeks. They're giving you your shoes. Even if you brought your own shoes, you're going to get shoes, and everything you have, you'll be charged for. You pay for everything. You don't pay for it up front out of pocket, but all of this stuff will be taken out of your paycheck automatically while you're in boot camp. So if you have someone at home who, like I do, that's going to have access to your account, maybe let them know your first paycheck or something like that is not going to be like your normal paycheck size, because you're going to pay for your shoes and all your clothes and your toiletries, and they're going to give you a debit card that's going to have $50 on it. I'm pretty sure that's all taken out of your paycheck.
Issue, they have their basic medical.
Just you're trying stuff on, getting a million shots. Why are they going up at an angle like that?
So what they're talking about here is,
what the heck?
You saw earlier they're doing the DITY issue or the first issue that you get. So they've been in sweats. You'll be in sweats when you first get there. As an RDC, you'll see them in their sweats, and that's all they have. They have this, the basic stuff just from the night of arrival. And this video is going to pretty much cover P1 through P5 pretty quickly. It's not really going to separate what each day is. But the next day is usually you start off with medical, and then day 3 or 4 is usually where you get.
MEPS is like this too. Like you get a name tag, and they put a little check-off list on your name tag like they have here on their chest, and they give you color markers to show when you've gone through that area. So you'll see here they have the same stuff. They got a little name tag, and then it's going to show which shot and stuff they got. And the reason they do that is to help you, because you're not going to remember everything in the process. But these people here know, because they've been doing this, they know these are probably corpsmen right here. And I don't know why that guy's double fisting that little syringe, but whatever. You know, these guys are probably just getting experience on recruits. They might not have even been in that long. I don't know, but he's literally going to use 2 hands to give you a shot. Oh, that's a little scary. But anyways, they'll check off your stuff with color marker. They give it to you, and you have to color the section so that everyone who's working in there knows what you've had. So they can, when you're sitting down, they can look in the room, they can look at all your tags and see if you're done or not, or if you need to go the next step or not.
You get all your uniform items, the rest of them. Not all of them. There's later on in training, you'll get your dress uniform items. So you have to go back for second issue is what they call it. But yeah, they'll get their NWUs. They'll get the brown shirts, and that's actually how you can tell what phase and P days they are, because the first few days they're going to be in their yellow shirts, and then once they get issued the brown shirts, you just have them start wearing the brown shirts, so lets them know they're kind of near the end of P days. But yeah, you're going to have to do the DITY issue. It's a pretty slow day. You got to still stay with the recruits. As a recruit, you're going to be extremely tired. It's going to be hard to follow basic instructions. You're still kind of confused of, if I tell you to do something as an RDC and you as a recruit, I'm going to expect you to act a certain way. And later on, you'll figure out this is how you're supposed to do it. It just becomes, you know, it's a military movement kind of a thing. But yeah, just going through P days here.
To be free and flexible and creative was really essential.
So yeah, everything they do is to help you succeed. Like they don't want you to fail.
So looking here, as they're going through the shots and medical screenings during process days help minimize illness among recruits during training. It's also for your military career. It's an immunization. Not everyone grows up with the ability to have full medical coverage through their life, depending on where you come from. Some of them do, but even then, they'll have medical documentation stating what shots they need to get and what they don't. And then for those who have it, they'll be getting all of them. It's not just for boot camp, although you will get what's called the peanut butter shot, and that is to help you with the initial attack that you're going to get from germs, because you're going to be interacting. Even as an RDC, you're going to get sick definitely the first few weeks of their first few pushes, because people are coming from all around the world. They're coming in, and everyone carries diseases of some form, and you're just going to be sharing these germs now with germs that you've never met or come into contact with.
See how I'm saying germs you've never met? Because some germs are like regional. Like you're acclimated to the area where you live, but now you're going to be around a bunch of people from different areas, and they might have different germs and stuff that they're acclimated to. And same to you, you might not even know you're going to be giving people germs that you're used to. You don't know you're sick, or you have germs, and that's going to make other people sick, and vice versa. So hopefully the penicillin shot works on me. I don't know how the heck people still get sick when you literally are getting a shot to help you not get sick.
So yeah, you get the booster as a recruit to help you with that initial part, but also you're getting just normal immunization. Like you see a doctor, you get immunized. You get your booster shots every 10 years, stuff like that. So that's what you're getting here.
We got dental work done, which we just finished today.
It was a long process.
So they're talking about they got dental work done. In P days, most of the time you just kind of get a checkup. You will have, as a recruit and also as an RDC, just a heads up, this is going to happen. You're going to have like dental availability day, where that whole day they take majority of your division, and then some of them come back kind of silly because they'll have to get like surgery, or they'll have to like put them under if they have to get a root canal. But this is mostly just a checkup. They won't really do anything unless it's an emergency. They notice there's something really, really bad with their teeth, which I've had before. They said, oh, hey, I got a recruit in P days from another division because they're like, no, we need to fix his teeth now. But he got a full new set of teeth, which was great. And the guy graduated too, so he was definitely benefiting a lot from the Navy. But yeah, this is just mostly just a general checkup, but you will have around week 2 or 3 dental availability day, and that's the day where a majority of recruits go out, they come back, and a lot of them are going to be SIQ. Just keep that in mind. That day is not very fun either, because
so SIQ is when you get sick and you probably get a couple days off. I don't think it sets you back in boot camp, but it might make things a little harder because you're going to miss some stuff. It's not like the same as getting ASMO'd, which is where you get like held back and you probably have to go with another group. You just get a couple sick days off.
You got to make sure they get there in time. It's very early in the morning, and then they get them back throughout the day. Just make sure you're accountability for that one. And as a recruit, you might have to get dental work, which is good. The teeth, you only get one pair of teeth your whole life. So look forward to better healthcare coverage.
And you do it to the best of your ability.
So actually, I just noticed this as well. So this is Chief here, and he's in his dress blues right now. And the reason being is because you're not going to meet your division in your dress blues, but he's doing it because he is probably about to graduate his division that day. So it's really early in the morning, or this is day 2 now, and he just wasn't there on day 1. This is the other division, right? This is he wasn't in the first 3 that you saw, so there might be another division. He might have not been there the first day. He might have been graduating his division. As an RDC, that's going to happen. There's times where
the very basics: how to stand at attention, how to salute, how to do facing.
You haven't even. We want to give them a shock, and we let them know that, you haven't even started training yet. You haven't even begun to experience exactly what we're about to subject you to.
And then you start teaching them the very basics: how to stand at attention, how to salute.
This is after P days, I think. Maybe not. Maybe this is
left face, right face, about face.
Learning how to fold things, learning how to do things correctly.
So I think they might be mixing it a little bit. Or maybe I don't know. I don't know 100%. It looks like they're kind of at the end of P days here in this video now.
I gave you 15 minutes to shave and brush your teeth. We are going on 25 minutes.
So here he was, they're talking about, hey, yeah, your training hasn't really started yet. Yeah, P days, once again, it's processing days. It's your basic medical, dental checkup, lots of paperwork. I don't think they show it in here, probably just for privacy reasons, because they are going to be dealing with like their PII information, personal identification information. So you do have training, right? You're not going to be busy the entire time. P days, it is a very rough schedule. You do a lot, but you're still going to have downtime. You still have to do all the stenciling, and while you're doing stenciling, you might as well teach them fold and sew, just to get ahead of time. We call it making that money, just trying to get as much. Every spare moment should be a time to train your recruits. Always is keeping them on their toes, keeping them busy. It helps pass the time for you, helps pass the time for them, helps keep them focused. It's a better morale booster too. But it helps. But yeah, they're not doing full on training yet. They're just now just trying to get the basics done.
Okay.
Left face, right face. Hopefully they did it at MEPS, but they probably didn't do it to the point of what we're going to be doing in boot camp. And just you start hiring or trying out processes as well of people.
We did not do that at MEPS. I don't know if they're going to do it the day that we swear in. Left face, right face. No. When we swore into DEP, this guy coached us how to stand at attention and how to stand at parade rest. And he told us when the captain was going to come in and swear us in, what to say, and how to stand and move and all that stuff. But it's literally just from parade rest to attention and 2 things to say in response to the captain. So that was all that was. They didn't teach us about right face, left face, about face. They didn't teach us any of that stuff. They might at the final swear-in. I don't know. We'll see. San Diego MEPS is super chill. They're very friendly. It's a very cool environment. I think it's really nice because you're testing and you're doing blood pressure and you're doing all these things, and that's not very advantageous environment to be in when trying to take vitals and take tests and things like that, especially when you're it's a volunteer service. I feel like they should be the way that the San Diego MEPS is, like welcoming, like, hey, you're part of the team now kind of thing. And then when you go to boot camp, start to put you into like how P days is. They're starting to like get more and more and more strict and have a higher expectation. And during P days, they don't expect you to be 100% squared away because you don't know any of this stuff. They're trying to transition you from civilian to military. So if you make mistakes, they're going to understand. You're not going to get in a lot of trouble. If 2 weeks down the road of practicing this stuff, you're still making the same mistakes, you're going to start getting in trouble. So something to keep in mind.
We're going to fill your recruit division or your recruit leadership. So RPOCs, AROCs, you try to figure out who can take charge or can follow orders and have others follow orders. Your starboard watch, so they can write watch bells and check deck logs. This is the basics of stuff like that.
I don't know where his part 2 is. P days part 2. We can watch that. You guys can see I've done a lot of research and watched all this stuff. So let me show you guys. That's not what I did. So this is something that I wanted to tell you guys about, that I've been doing to help my wife and to help myself for while I'm gone. So the SRCA is a program that provides certain protections in lending for service members who are called to active duty from the site. Users may submit a single record request to obtain a report clarifying Title 10 active duty status for provisions under Service Member Relief Act. An account is required to use the single record request. Users may also request multiple record requests of multiple individuals or multiple dates for a single individual to determine the Title 10 active duty status for provisions under SCRA. So you don't have to come to this website But I'm just trying to tell you about the Service Member Civil Relief Act. All of the credit card companies and banks and apartment complexes. Oh, thank you. They already know about this. Some of them will potentially pretend like they don't know. So if you do research on this, it's going to help you. Um, for example, I called Wells Fargo, and the person who I was talking to was kind of acting like they didn't know what I was talking about. After I explained it to them for a little bit, they obviously understood that I wasn't going to take no for an answer, and they transferred me to their military department. Um, and then they help you out with this stuff. If you are in kind of debt and you're afraid you're not going to be able to make your payments and things like that for a while, like for me, I haven't been working while I'm trying to do this, and I'm being full disclosure with you guys just to help you out. You know, my wife has been covering everything during this time. So I called the banks and asked for hardship assistance, and I asked them to freeze all my cards so I cannot use them. Whether there's an available balance or not, I asked to freeze them. And then the SRCA, SCRA, sorry, I keep calling it SRCA, SCRA, goes into effect. The federal government requires establishments to lower like your interest rates, for example, down to a certain percent. I believe it's 6%. And some of them actually go even lower than that. So like my Wells Fargo, they lowered my credit card interest down to 1%. Wells Fargo lowered my Goldman Sachs, my Apple Card, lowered my interest rate down to 4%. Some of these banks through SCRA, your wife can call, because some of these things they won't let you start until your actual active duty day. So mine is March 17th. So some of these my wife will have to call on her own. What I've done is I've made a stack of papers with information. Some I've handwritten, some I've been able to print. And then I put the card that's related to that on top of the paper. So when my wife has some time to sit down, she can look and say, okay, this one's already taken care of. This one I need to make a payment on. This one I need to call and get started on SCRA, etc., etc. So child support, I added her as an authorized person so she can see what the balance is and know when the payments are due. This is all stuff that's a big deal. Or when you get out of basic or boot camp or whatever, you're going to have a nightmare of a time. You know, you don't want to have frozen accounts and stuff sent to collections in the 9-week period while you're in boot camp. That's not a good way to start your career. So if you have someone that's helping you with this stuff outside of boot camp, a parent or something, you might have to put them on all this stuff, like I said. And all of it you can do temporarily. Some of the bank accounts, you can actually add them right on the app. You can add an authorized user and ask for their phone number and their name. And that's all it asks for. And you can even set a time period when you want to allow them to do it, and it'll automatically take them off. And they're just going to be able to call and say, hey, I just want to make a payment, and you can give them your debit card or give them cash or whatever you want for them to do it. You can also put money in your account and set up auto payments as well. I'm trying to see where they put the information. Oh, that's downloading something. I didn't want that. But anyways, let's see if they have here. I guess we could let's open it and see what this is. Overview, that's what I want to look at. Formerly known as Soldiers and Sailors Civil Relief Act of 1940. So that's how you guys can see it's been around a long time. Provides members on active duty status with important safeguards in areas of financial management that include rental agreements, security deposits, evictions, installment contracts, credit card interest rates, mortgages, civil judicial proceedings, income tax payments, etc. You guys might not be able to show up to court. You might have to get a station somewhere, open up a lease for an apartment, and then get told you're going somewhere else so you can break that contract, and you won't have any penalty to pay. You should be able to get your safety, security deposits back, all that stuff, you know. You also looks like it protects you from evictions, all kinds of cool stuff. SCRA website enables financial service providers to determine if an individual is eligible for the provisions of SCRA. So your apartment complex will be able to come here and they'll be able to make an account and then put in your information about you to see if you actually are doing this and you're not trying to scam them or not. The website enables you to input your identifying information along with specific active duty status, date, and determine if the individual is on active duty on the date in question, has left active duty within 367 days of the date in question, has been notified of call up to active duty before, so they could see all this stuff. The Department of Defense strongly supports the enforcement of the Service Members Civil Relief Act. Information provided is in support of Title 10 and the part of Title 14 for Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, etc. So, Department of Defense has your back on that stuff. So, looks like they even left you commander's information to ask for help if the place you're at is not helping you. So, Space Force has a phone number. Air Force has a number. Army has a number. Navy has a number. Marine Corps, yeah, they all have a number here. So you can call. It looks like Coast Guard is the only one that doesn't have a phone number. So you're probably going to have to write them a letter if you need help. So I've also made a few short videos that I've uploaded to. One is going to be during the 2-week P-Day period while I'm at boot camp, just saying like, hey, I'm literally walking around the complex like, hey, right now I should be in P-Days, and you guys saw this video here. You can go YouTube P-Days and see what I'm going through at the time. And then we'll watch this part 2, and I have a video that's going to be basically week 3, between week 3 and 4, saying like, hey, I'm done with P-Days now. Now we should have started the regular programming. It's when you can start doing intensive training, when they can start really working you out, punishing you, yelling at you, whatever kind of stuff you need. They're going to start grilling it into you. So if you're not paying attention or catching up or doing what you're supposed to, this is where they're going to start molding you into a sailor. I don't know when the test is, when the PFT is. Let's see. When is the first Navy PRT during boot camp? Oh, I should Google that. Not look it up in YouTube. So, AI says the first Navy PRT during boot camp usually happens around the 5th business day after arriving at route camp, essentially during the processing week. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So, right around the end of the first week. So, if I'm getting there on March 17th, which is going to be a Monday. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, either... I don't know how much they do on the weekends. We'll have to see. So it'll either be, if they do it on the weekends, it'll either be Friday or Saturday, or the next Monday will be my first PRT. Early in training occurs very early in boot camp within the first week. Focus on running. The primary component of this initial PRT is 1.5 mile run used to gauge a recruit's baseline cardiovascular fitness. not a full PRT. While considered a physical fitness assessment, it may not include all elements of a standard physical readiness test like push-ups and sit-ups at this early stage. I think they do make you do all of it, and if you pass it plus your depth test, I think you can advance. Like, so I'm going in as an E1, which is the lowest rank, lowest pay grade. If I pass those two things, I think it'll make you an E2 automatically. So that is something we want to do. And let's see. I only have to do 10 laps. What the heck? That's not even a mile. Or maybe that is a mile. The initial assessment will include the physical, aerobic, cardiovascular endurance run pacer test. The pacer test is a series of paced wind sprints run styles. The length of each run is 65 feet and must be completed before the lap buzzer sounds for the lap to count. You must successfully complete the minimum required. Oh, this is different. This is not the actual run test. Here's the actual PRT. So I am with the old people, 40 to 44 females, males. So forearm planks, all I have to do is get is at least a 105 to pass. Obviously anything better than that is going to give you more points. See here on the side here, you get points. I only need 29 push-ups to pass. And then obviously I'm like right here in this range right now. I'm in the like 56 or 34 range. So, and then the mile and a half, you only need a 15:15 to pass. Last time I tested this one, I did a 12 minutes, so that's going to put me in the same range as push-up. My planks, I think I can do 2 minute. I haven't really like super hardcore pushed myself for that, but I'm definitely up here in the good range for old people. It looks like I'm satisfactory for these guys. A little higher, actually. Let's go compare it to the youngsters. There's, I think, 17 and 19-year-olds. So I could pass. I could pass for these guys, which is good, because I don't want anybody to think I'm doing like anything favoritisms. I'm obviously not, up here. This is like my 1 mile time. Is an 8-minute mile. That's like the pace I run to get this number. Is an 8-minute mile. So that's good. We could pass that. Let's see if we can find out what is the Navy depth test in boot camp. People have it on like Quizlet. That's funny. Navy core values, honors, courage, commitment. So you gotta know that. Honor, I will bear true faith and allegiance. Courage, I will support and defend. I will obey the orders. Mission of the Navy. The mission of the Navy is to maintain, train, and equip combat-ready naval forces capable of winning wars, deterring aggression, and maintaining freedom of the seas. If I have to know this stuff off the top of my head, it's probably not going to be good. If it's multiple guess, I will do fine. First general order is to first general order is to take charge of my post and all government property in view. To take charge of the post and all government property in view. Second general order is to walk my post in a military manner, keeping always on the alert. I don't know. To walk my post in a military manner, keeping always on the alert, observing everything that takes place in sight or hearing. Third general order is to not talk to anyone except in the line of duty. To report all violations of orders I am instructed to enforce. I think the fourth one is the one I had just said. So yeah, if I get to do multiple guesses on those, I think I will do fine. Let's see actually if it is. Is the Navy boot camp depth test multiple choice? Yes, the Navy boot camp depth test, which is essentially a portion of the ASVAB test, is primarily multiple choice format, meaning you will select the correct answer from a list of options provided for each question. So you guys, if you study, you should be able to do this. Yeah. When you're getting your uniform inspection, I think you have to know some of the 11 general orders of a century off the top of your head. They're going to ask you. But that's good for the depth test that they let you do multiple choice. I don't want to take the ASVAB again. Academic test and boot camp. That's good to see. There's a lot of research you guys can do on this stuff. And then after that, let's see, let's go back and we'll watch the where was it at? The part 2. What the heck? Oh, here it is. So after the 2 weeks is when they start going over stuff you're actually supposed to learn.
To stand freaking lazy. You understand?
Yes, Petty Officer.
And don't stand like that. I shouldn't be repeating myself when I already trained.
Some people really.
So one thing I kind of want to mention here, yeah, he's getting in on him, but this is still pretty watered down. You gotta understand this is recorded. This is more so designed as like a recruiting method. This video series. So they're probably told, hey, don't curse, hey, don't go too hard, kind of a thing, at least in front of the camera. So if you're a recruit, you will get cursed at. You will not be called cursed names. You will not be disrespected, but you will be cursed at. And as an RC, yes, you can curse. So this is a little watered down. That guy's pretty intense. At the time, actually, he was a C school instructor when I went through.
Let me get my mail real quick while you guys
taught
watch
me how to
this.
be an RDC. Really, really good stand-up guy, great leader, great teacher, and but he's also a great RDC, and he's definitely pushed out some really good recruits that turned out to be really great sailors. And he goes hard. He doesn't relax. He doesn't let the recruits relax, which and then turns out to better rounded sailor at the end. But yeah, just a heads up on that.
Have a negative effect to that, and they don't like being talked like that, and then some of them understand the process and understand that us being on them 100% all the time is what's going to make them a better sailor in the end.
Uh-oh.
So like he said there, you're gonna get yelled at as a recruit. It happens. It's the ability to work under pressure. I said in the previous video, if you take a simple task such as standing in line and sounding off a number or folding a shirt a very specific way, and then I give you a time limit to do it, I tell you to do it a very specific way, and I'm yelling at you while you do it. If you can handle that pressure here, it just conditions your mind to be able to handle the pressure out in the fleet when you'll be dealing with actual real danger, kind of a thing. But yeah, never take it personal. It's never an attack. It is, if they ever attack, it's going to be attacking of your character, but not of your person. If you continuously act lazy and continue to just not follow instructions and stand out, then you're, the nail that sticks out gets hammered. You signed up. Just try to do your best. It's going to be rough at first. You may some people have a hard time, but if you focus and try.
So this is a recruit division commander talking, telling you. So this is better advice than anyone can give you because they're telling you what they expect. And it seems like they understand that you're new and you're nervous and this is a lot. They're very understanding in everything they do. This is all a game. Try to beat the game. You know, don't get upset. Don't take it personal. Just try to keep getting better. Listen to what they're saying. They're not trying to trick you. They want you to do well. These guys are also getting graded on how well you do. They want you to graduate. They want you to become a sailor and stand the watch. So everything they're doing is to help you. So as long as you remember that and remember it's like a game, I don't think you'll take it personal.
The RDCs will notice that and they'll work with you. But definitely in the beginning, lots of yelling. As an RDC, I definitely lost my voice a lot just from P days alone. And also because, you know, you get sick because you're coming into contact with people from around the world.
You know, everything they do, I don't take it personal because I realize they are training me to be a sailor.
It's a lot of tough love. And it's like, I know that
You're not allowed to look at them while they're talking.
Again, I know that they want us to do well. You know, they've all been through this themselves. They have gone through a lot of training themselves to be RDCs. So trying to just remember that and give them that equal amount of respect really helps me get.
So this guy's yelling, shoulders back, chest out, and the guy's still standing like this. Instead of, when the guy says, shoulders back, do it, chest out, do it. Do what he's telling you to do. Because right after he's done yelling at you, you have to say, aye, petty officer, or chief, or whatever it is. He's giving you an order. So he says, shoulders back, chest up. Just do what he says. Don't stand there with that stupid face. He's telling you what to do, and you're not doing what he said right then and there.
Get through it.
So he said,
So what she
but
said
he
is
didn't
actually
do it.
really good. It's about mutual respect.
Like, do it.
As an artist, you make sure you are respectful recruits. Yes, you're going to be yelling at them and you're going to be asking a lot of them, but don't be disrespectful. Just because you're yelling at someone doesn't mean you're being disrespectful. So as a recruit, respect them back. They're there to train you. They're there to condition you. They're there to make sure you signed up because you want to be in the Navy. This is the process you have to go through to do the basics. And they're going to make sure you understand military bearing is one of them, and that's what they get to do when they get in your face and get that pressure.
You guys, after boot camp, it's not going to be like this anymore. This is literally a game to get into this job. Just play the game. This is all temporary. They don't yell at you like this once you get to your job.
It's conditioning you. It's good. If that's something that you feel like you can't handle, you might want to think again. But they're definitely going to get on you.
Anybody can handle this.
So as a recruit, understand when they're yelling at you, it's because they're trying to get you to do something. And as an RDC, remember that's still a human being over there. So don't be calling him names, you know, and then they train you this as well. Hey, recruit, hey, RPOC, or say their name, you know, Wells or something, whatever their name is. But once again, cursed at, not being called curse words.
54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59.
Then why are you here?
62.
You're 230. Get across and bring it home.
So that's pretty funny. That actually happens a lot in the beginning when you have integrated divisions where you actually do integrate instead of just having an all female, all male, or just if you have, you know, if your brother div's all male and you're all male, you're not going to integrate really. You might integrate for fun, like you might do PT together kind of a thing, just as a morale thing, just to mix it up because PT can get boring every once in a while. Maybe you could play music sometimes too. But yeah, it does happen in the beginning. Make sure you're paying attention as a recruit where you're supposed to be. And then as an RDC, make sure you're double checking because you might steal your brother div's recruit. And I've actually had recruits come in from a division that was nowhere near me. It was, what are you doing here? It was wild. So you just got to double check. But yeah, that'll happen a little more than you think. It's funny, but you know, you can't laugh at the moment.
And so that's why we create a stressful environment. That's why we keep the temp up.
So right there, you're seeing in his. You probably couldn't hear it while he was doing the talkover part, but he is firing that dude right there. As an RDC, I have fired 5 RPOCs before I even made it to P3 day. It's just one of those things. Like you're gonna notice some recruits will act a certain way, and some of them are built for the job, and some of them you think are built for the job, and you just kind of, you know, help them get there. It's up to you how much you want to deal with, but having a good recruit leadership will make or break your division as well. Sometimes you have infighting and whatnot, but there's going to be times where, like I said, you're just going to be firing people. Later on, you don't fire as much. You spend a lot of time training them to do the specific job you want them to do. And of course, you're always going to go behind them and make sure they did it right, because if they fail to do it, that's your failure as an RDC to properly train them. But yeah, it's funny. You just fire people all the time in P days. I've fired one in less than like 5 seconds. I was like, "You're hired. Do this," and they didn't do exactly. I was like, "All right, say these words: last recruit, sound off last recruit," and they didn't say that. And I was like, "All right, you're fired. Next person." So it happens. It's how much you're willing to deal with and how much you're willing to train them before you decide whether or not you want to keep them, or if you just keep them all the way from the beginning, kind of a thing, as that same. And then also you might hire someone in your recruit staff that is then ASMO'd because of medical, or because they didn't pass their PFA, or they didn't pass an evolution, so they get ASMO'd. Well, you gotta rehire someone else and train them up. So try to do your best to pick the ones that you think you will work off from the beginning and stay with the whole time.
Warning, if you've been injured in a recent car accident...
You guys think you could be an RPOC or an AROC? Let me know in the comments if you are going to try to do that, or you think you could do that.
5-day with the initial baseline, it has changed a lot. It's changed since I went through boot camp. It's changed while I was an RDC through like 3 or 4 times, I believe. So I would recommend going to mynavyhr.com or CNRC, or just calling out to a recruiter and figuring out what the new baseline standards were. When I left, the baseline standards were like 16 minutes or so for male and 18 minutes or so for female for a mile and a half, regardless of push-ups or planks.
It's
and
higher than that.
if you
or
failed
lower.
that, then you were sent back to a division specifically for like just to rerun. And at that point, you do the pacer test. Now, the pacer test is where you run back and forth like a relay. And every time you run, you have a certain amount of time and you hear a beeping noise. And then if you cross the line before it beeps, you're good, and you go back to the other line, and then you just keep doing it, and every time the beep gets shorter and shorter, and you have to do so many times. I don't know if they're doing that now, and I'm hesitant to put the information up on the screen here just because it could change so often. So it's just best to go to either mynavyhr.com, googlenavy.com, or militaryonesource.com, or cnrc.com. Those are all websites that will keep you up to date. My Navy HR is open to everyone and has even like instructions and everything if you're curious.
This looks like after P days, and now they're going to go to where they're actually sleeping. They have their bedding and all their uniforms and stuff in here. And now they're walking to... Because where you are in P days is different from where you're actually going to be like sleeping and living every day.
It's about what you can or can't do even before you're in the military. And I still use it today to look up instructions. But just keep that in mind. Baseline will send you back, and you will not be with that division. If you continue
What's
to
up,
fail the
Toya?
fitness, then you will be sent home. So basics, I would say prepare for this is just go start. You don't need to get a gym membership. Just if you got running shoes, just start running and, you know, get in shape and check yourself. Just make sure you can meet those standards.
We were all really stressed about who was going to pass and who wasn't going to pass.
Let's go, Jones. Let's go. Get up there. Come on. Don't think about it. Let's go. Come on. 5 more. 5
They're
more.
like
Give me 5
super motivational.
So this is really good. I really like that they show this part. As an RDC, you're going to wear multiple hats. You obviously you're going to be the one that gets in their 2-pack and yells at them and, you know, calls them out if they make mistakes. And you're going to be the one that trains them. And you're going to see your face every day from, you know, from sunrise to sunset. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be like that all the time. There are times that you're going to have to change that
This
hat.
looks
You're
like
going to
they're
have to be a
just
motivator.
working out, not
That's
actually
what we call each
testing.
other, is just motivators, motivated to train. And we motivate the recruits. We train them, we motivate them. So when they're doing PFA, and they're not allowed to talk to each other. So you might have to be the one that goes out there, and they could be that person that's just trying to change their life. And they're just struggling on push-ups, sit-ups, or a run, or planks. So you just go out there, like, come on, one more. Get out there. Just motivate. Like, you want them to succeed. You're not there to be like, oh, man, I hope you failed. That's terrible. You're there because you're training your possible relief. You're there because they're there because they're trying to either turn their life around, or they always wanted to join the Navy. Whatever the situation is, they're not there to
That's
fail.
me, I'm the second one.
They want to succeed too. So you might have to go out there. And so I would always PT with recruits. You'll see in this video, they're running the PFA with them. I love doing PT with recruits. That was always the thing. With my partners, I said, just please never do PT without me. I love doing PT with recruits. It's good. It's motivating. It's good for morale.
PFA, I knew I was ready. I was ready for it before coming.
So my recruiter told me for the run test to try to stay with the recruit with one of the RDCs, because during the test he said the RDC runs, but they keep the pace to pass. So that's a good way to know like how your time is and stuff. when you're doing the run test at boot camp. Just follow the RDC, or I mean, if you're a stud, you can run ahead of the RDC.
In boot camp, but the day before I got really sick. Still, I felt sick during the PFA, but I just pushed because I didn't want to get separated.
So he says here, and like I mentioned before, he said he got sick, and that's the thing. Like I said, you're now going to be in close contact with a lot of people from around the world, and like I said, everyone has germs. You got germs, I got germs, but we're immune to them. And so you're getting in contact with people who carry germs that you've never been in contact with. So you might get some sort of like head cold, or you might start coughing up phlegm, and
I
of course
literally
that will
got
affect your
sick from
physical
going to
ability.
MEPS.
If you're extremely in shape, won't affect enough that you fail, but you're still it's something to keep in mind. As a recruit, it's going to happen. You're going to get sick, or maybe not, but most likely you are. And as an RDC, definitely the first few pushes that you have in the beginning, it's a possibility you're going to get sick as well. We call it the recruit crud. It happens. You usually just end up coughing up a lot of phlegm as your body is fighting off its new diseases.
Sounds fun.
No. So that PFA baseline is just that. It's the baseline. It's not even
how
the
he's
actual
running?
PFA standard. And if they can't meet the baseline, then they probably need to go find something else to do.
So Chief makes a great point here. The baseline was set to, it's not at the standard of which they need to pass, which you should be aiming for before you come into the Navy. And of course, while you're in the Navy, you need to meet the standard or you're going to get kicked out. But he's talking about there's a baseline where the standards are relaxed a little bit. It's not a real PFA, but if you can meet these slightly relaxed standards while we're doing all this PT in boot camp, you will then eventually meet the standard within boot camp itself. I had many people who barely passed the baseline, and at the end they got a good high, just because the amount of PT we do at boot camp, it gets you in shape. It might be a new lifestyle for a lot of people. Going to the gym isn't really exactly a lifestyle.
So, like I was showing you guys on the where is it at? Was it right? Man, I forgot where it was. So, what I was showing you, let's go down to the little graph part. Oh, this is actually what the recruiters go off of how to make you do the tests. Well, we'll go down here to the graph. So he was saying, he said good high. So I think he meant like good high right here. Good high. That's to get a lot of points there. We'll go to my age so we can look and see. Here we go. So when I start, I mean the lowest I can get, which counts as a pass, is satisfactory medium. Okay? So 9 push-ups. Oh, that's females, sorry. So the lowest I can get to pass the first test is a 29 push-up, minute 14 plank, 15-15 run, 15 minute, 15 second mile and a half run. Or I guess they let you do a row. I don't know about that. And then the 500-yard swim in 12 minutes 45 seconds, or 450-meter swim in, I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if you can choose that instead of run. I don't know. So he's saying you might get this at first and pass, but then by the end of boot camp, you'll probably move from that to a good high, because like he said, some people have never worked out before and stuff. And then just working on a boot camp is going to make that better. So you'll go from a maybe probationary or satisfactory to a good high. So
For everyone. But you'll find that when they do the PT right and you motivate them, make sure they get to it. And if they meet the baseline and they put 100% into the PT, they'll make it.
Just so you guys know, a chief started off just like you. A chief is enlisted. This is not an officer. So this guy started off in the same exact spot you're in and climbed his way up. to chief. So you can do it too. This guy did not go to officer candidate school. He started off just like we are.
And so as a recruit, telling you, do your best to try you can get in shape. And then while you're there, if you don't score as well as you think you did, but you pass the baseline, pay attention in PT and give it 100%. Run, do all the workouts they tell you to do, and you'll be fine. So it says here they had 229 had 10 failures and 230 had 18 failures. That's pretty light. It's pretty average. I've had ones with 0 failures, which is almost unheard of, and then I've had ones where I had like 30 failures. But just keep that in mind as an RDC. That means paperwork. That means you're going to have to deliver them to another division and get them checked in, and you're going to have to change your roster. You're going to have to change your watch bill. You're going to do a lot of paperwork for that. And also during that time is when you do the exchange. So the division they go to, like I said, they're going to go and do the pacer test or whatever they do during the time to get them so that they're like, okay, cool. Now they passed this one. So yes, we're going to let them continue training, and then hopefully they get in shape or not. And then if you don't get in shape by the end, you're sent back in training. So you're going to have to redo all that training. But the point is you get more PT, depending on how badly you fail. If you fail just by a second, they'll let you rerun again the next day usually. But not always. So don't bank on that. Make sure you just take the time to be in shape. But as RDCs, that means that you're going to be processing these people and have to ASMO them, a lot of paperwork, admin paperwork to get them to where they need to be. And then usually around the time after you do your baseline, that's when you get the ones that once that division is passed, then you get in. So it's an exchange of recruits. So P days, very busy as an RDC. Very busy as a recruit. You're going to be very tired. As an RDC, you can be very tired as well because you're just setting up all the paperwork and everything like that. So just keep in mind, try to work it out with your partners to be 100% all the time and cover down for each other.
I don't give a crap if you're tired, if you think the sea bag's too heavy. You came here to serve, so own up and do it.
So right here, this is actually Freedom Hall. This is our main gym. This is where they ran their PFA or the baseline PFA. This is them forming up into columns of 3 or to mass formation, but at this point they're probably just forming in columns of 3 because they haven't been taught mass formation. A lot of drill stuff. And whenever you're carrying all your stuff like this is usually when you march at ease. So you're still in columns of 3, but you're not in step. There's no cadence. And definitely early on, they're just not even staying in columns of 3. They'll just kind of be like spread out like a snake. It's infuriating as an RDC. But in time, take time to train them, drill. They end up getting into it and wanting to look good. And you'll see that throughout this video as well, where they're going to be bad and then they're going to be doing training. And then you see them at the end when they graduate and they look so sharp. And it's so rewarding as a recruit to graduate. But as an RDC, when you see them make that left turn in their dress uniform and they're all in step, it just feels it's very... rewarding. It just feels good to see your effort put into them and see them graduate, and you know that you were part of that process.
They're going to be expected to pass their swim qualification and expected to march as a unit.
So what you saw there when they were walking with the guide on, here I'll skip back a little bit. You see here the guide on is wrapped up. It's because the division hasn't been commissioned yet. So that happens on usually one day of training. Sometimes it'll happen on P5 after the PFA, but it's because they haven't been commissioned yet.
I don't know if he's going to point it out either, but look, the RPOC and the AROC, that's these guys, they're not carrying their sea bag. I think someone's carrying it for them.
So they haven't started their official day of training. They're just doing processing days. So when they get commissioned, then it's a ceremony, a little mini ceremony they do with the ship's officer and LCPO, where they unfurl it, and the ship's officer and LCPO set the standards and expectations as well. And, training begins kind of thing. And now when it's unfurled, everyone will know what division you are, and they'll know that you're ready to be graded as well by FQA.
So in P days, we are loud and we are aggressive with them, but we are instructors at first. We're teaching them everything, and we take our time, because come week 1, then we don't have time to train every little thing over and over again. They need to learn it. So when we're telling them at first they need to pick stuff up and this is how it has to be done, come week 1, we expect that to happen. So when they start failing during week 1, then they're actually held accountable for their actions.
So he makes a great point. You're instructor first, and it's really annoying to have to retrain things over and over and over again. it's yeah, it's important. Also, one thing I want to talk about, the compartment that they're in. They're probably in it for the first time now. This is the compartment they're going to be pushing out of. The recruits are going to go through their boot camp through. So as an RDC, you usually get with your partners ahead of time because you know what compartment you're going to be in. You take the time to do a little cleaning, make sure the racks are set up properly, they're aligned. There's a very specific way the racks get lined up and everything. The tables, they're measured out and everything. You'll learn this as a recruit because I like to assign like table POs and rack POs, and they were the ones that, because they move around even though they're on, the brakes are on the wheels, they still move a little bit as they get in and out of the racks. So just make sure the compartment's always on point. You usually just have them go around every once in a while before you leave the compartment. You double check everything's lined up. You sit at a table and make sure it's reset, stuff like that. So you're just keep that in mind as an RC. You're going to want to spend that time, get together with your partners before a push and set up a game plan, how you want things to go, and just make sure the compartment's set up and you have all the supplies that you need, because people like to go to empty compartments and steal tables and chairs that they need to set up their compartment. So make sure it's good.
Anything that you were before you came here, you wave goodbye to that. That's gone. Because as long as people in this world want to take your life because of where you live, because of where you breathe.
On that, that's a great speech from Chief Seagal. If you're ready to be a recruit and you come for sexual orientation, it doesn't matter.
So that is the end of P-Days.
Hi, Ask an RDC here. And in this video, we're going to continue the To Make a Sailor, which is going to go over forming an ITE, and then most importantly, it's going to go over the swimming part, which...
So I think this is actually the third week. So those first two videos were the first 2 weeks. I think the first week you're getting all your shots and all that fun stuff. And now... they've marched you to where your actual berthing is, where you're actually going to sleep and live, and here's the fish tank or fish bowl or whatever they like to call it.
Seems like a lot of people have questions in the comments about. So I'll go over a little more detail, and this video itself actually covers more than you see in like little quick ads, and then you get to hear a little bit from the recruits that are going through at this time. But yeah, we're gonna break it down, and it's starting off with Reveille the next day.
Good morning. Let's go, kiddo! Go, how do you rap? You got 15 minutes to make your rap.
I wake up every morning and I'm like, I'm really in Navy boot camp.
Good morning.
Right, so a couple things that we saw. One, right when they entered, the lights were off, because it's between taps and Reveille, they turn off the lights, the white lights, and they turn on the red lights. The red lights is because in the Navy, you can't see that spectrum of lighting, or it's the spectrum of lighting that doesn't go as far as the rest of the spectrum of the light. So we use red lights at nighttime in the fleet whenever it's sunset to sunrise. And then, so darkened ship, we turn off all the white lights and we turn on red lights. So here we do it at the same thing in the compartments in boot camp. Additionally, you saw that when the first came in, all the RDCs came in at once. It's because we actually have a POD. As you can see up here, there's a bunch of papers, right? These are all things that are welcome for you to look at it as a recruit. It's up to recruits and RDCs to update this board, and one of them is a POD, or Plan of the Day, or in the fleet we like to call it Plan of Deception. So it will tell you when bedtime is and when Reveille is. So it's not really a surprise. It's not like they're just going to bust in and wake you up. You're going to know when you're going to be expected to wake up. But here as well, you can see this is the watchstander. It's probably the roving security watch. But this poster here, it's changed a couple of times, but for the most part, it's the same. And you can actually Google it online if you just look up sound off procedures, RTC boot camp, something like that. And his job here is to follow the 11th General Order to be especially watchful at night and during the times for challenging, to challenge all persons on or near my post and to allow no one to pass without proper authority. So he's challenging Chief right now, and that's what you do. Any staff member that comes in, not another recruit, you're going to challenge the staff members. If you see another recruit, obviously, if it's your own recruit, no big deal, just let him in. But if it's a recruit that's not yours or someone of the opposite gender, do not let them in. Stop them at the door. Tell them to state their business. Halt, state your business. But this, he's challenging. So it's really simple. It's broken down to if he's not an officer, he's a chief. So good morning, sir, ma'am, or title. So good morning, chief, seaman recruit, whatever this guy's name is, Division 229, Roving Security Watch, standing by for further instruction, chief. So it says sir, ma'am, or title again. It's because we're sandwiching. You start and end it. If it's a recruit, what's 2 plus 2? Chief. 2 plus 2 is 4. Chief. It's sandwiching, right? So expect that to happen a lot. Anytime a staff member comes in, it's going to happen a lot. Make sure to practice this to sound it properly. And then usually what happens is they'll ask you a question that you should know during a personnel
If you're going to be an MA or something, I recommend you try to volunteer for this job.
inspection. You know, who's the president of the United States? Who is the ship's LCPO? What is the pay grade of a lieutenant? They're going to ask you questions. And they're also going to inspect your deck log, which is just to the right of this recruit. We use these in the fleet as well. But here at Recruit Training Command, you would just use them to log basic entries such as reveille, what the division's doing, if they're going to chow, if they're going to PT, securing the watch, whether or not the roving security watch made a tour, stuff like that. And it's all inspectable, and it's written in a very cookie cutter way to the point that they know if you made entries incorrect. So expect that a lot. And RDCs, expect the recruits to be sounding off every time you enter a space. It's part of training. Let them finish. Unless you're in and out in a really hurry. Usually you hear people say carry on watch as soon as they say good morning, and you're like, no, carry on. Let them finish it off, let them practice, and then ask them a question. It's good for the training. You're there to train them.
Sorry to ruin your groove. Isn't that the worst? What if I told you that there was
Quit stuttering.
It doesn't feel like we're here, and it's like you go to sleep and you wake up, and then you look around and you're
like,
here.
oh crap.
You shaved yet?
Yes, petty officer.
When?
Last night, petty officer.
Did you shave this morning?
No.
So this part's pretty funny, right? So one, keep in mind, RDCs, you're going to be inspected all the time by recruits. All the time recruits are inspecting you. There's no recruit inspection of RDCs. What I'm saying is you're walking around, you're wearing this uniform, you're telling them what to do all the time. You're teaching them the rules of what you can and can't do. So understand they're going to be looking at you to make sure you do that. So making sure that you're shaved as well and you're wearing your uniform properly and looking sharp, good haircut, just like this petty officer has right here. So as a recruit, you're going to shave. If you're a male, you'll shave every day, sometimes twice a day. You'll shave in the morning, and then you'll shave before watch. If you have peach fuzz, that counts as shaving. So you get inspected all the time as a recruit. You're always under inspection as well. Any RDC walks by, they're checking you to make sure you're proper and where you're supposed to be, wearing the right thing, and doing the right thing. And as you can see here, as he's inspecting this recruit's shave, this guy over here on the side is just touching his face. He's like, oh, man, did I shave? So, just make sure you're doing the right thing.
Petty officer.
Or within the last hour?
No, petty officer.
Go shave.
All right, petty officer.
Now we're in our permanent ship. It's a heightened amount of stress.
So just real quick, she said now we're in our permanent ship. What she's saying is that, like I said before in the previous video, when you're going through P days or processing days, you're going to be in the Pearl Harbor. And then once you've done that, you're go across the other side of the base to the MTS side, and you are in a ship or barracks, whatever you want to call them, but you're in that compartment until you graduate or until you get ASMO'd. But that's your permanent ship, quote unquote. That's the one you're going to be on. So love it, take care of it, get used to it, and just make sure it's always on point. Do your part.
Because there are so many more pairs of eyes looking at us.
Oh, yeah.
It's stressful at the moment. I'm trying to get.
So right here in this petty officer's hands is the recruit training guides book. So it's this recruit's training guide. As a recruit, you're going to get it. It's going to have all the information you need for all the classes you go to. It's going to give you the information on the basic, like 11 general orders, your rank and recognition, chain of command. And if you go to a class about, naval ships and airplanes, it's going to have the PowerPoints in there and like the things for you to study, because you're going to take academic tests while you're in boot camp as well, which are also, if you fail that, you will get sent back, kind of a thing. So make sure you're paying attention in class. This is all the stuff you need to know as a basically trained sailor, regardless of what your rate is going to be. So, and also don't write silly things in there because it's going to be inspected at all times.
Used to it, I guess.
I believe with Division 229, when we first switched from P days where we were coaching most of the time to week 1 where we were holding them accountable, it scared a few of them that they weren't going to be able to meet the standard that we expect them to hold.
Everybody on your faces, now! You can't hack it or what? You ready to quit? You want to quit? I can get you out of here.
1, 2, 3.
All recruits, when you first pick them up from basically civilians and then get them into the week 1.
So as you can see here, this is called ITE, or intensive training exercise, or as recruits like to call it, getting beat. But that's not the proper term. It's ITE. So this is to correct a deficiency and to motivate recruits to, work as a team to improve. It's multiple things in reality. As an RDC, use this as a motivational
cheat
tool.
this. Take advantage
You
of this
utilize
workout
this
time to get
if
better.
you're not moving fast enough. You want to give them a little motivation to move faster, make them do some push-ups. But the great thing about this is I would like to utilize this whenever I noticed that if a recruit was not getting right and I need to lose a ITE, and I would know, hey, this recruit's starting with their push-ups. I would start with push-ups. This recruit can't do planks or sit-ups. I would start with sit-ups, leg lifts, whatever the core workout is on the card. Or they're not good at their PT of like running, so then I would do 10 counts or 8 counts, anything, or jumping jacks, whatever the card allowed me to do at the time. And what I mean by that is the instruction changes. I don't remember the time frame, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. Whenever the instruction changes, you read it, sign the page 13, and you're given a new card. So the color of the card doesn't mean anything except for the fact that it's whatever instruction we're on now. So if the cards are orange and then we get a new instruction, now the cards are yellow. And so that means you're going to walk around with a yellow card with new workouts and the updated page 13 on it. So if someone sees you walk around with an orange card and we have the new instruction and it's a yellow card, then they know that you're not utilizing the updated instruction. And you have to have this card in hand visible while you're doing the workouts. There's a lot of rules to it, like no ITE within like an hour of chow. So you can't just have them eat then make them throw up, right? That's not proper. You're not supposed to do this to cause them harm or pain. You're supposed to do this as a motivational tool. But as a recruit, just keep in mind that you will get ITE'd either as an individual or you'll get ITE'd as a group, one team, one fight. You may be the perfect recruit, but if your division isn't working together as a team, then they need to learn to do push-ups as a team. And at least we can start there as one team, one fight.
Training and you start using intensive training.
I really hope I don't get in like
they really
this
struggle.
girl's-
It's mostly a mindset.
Look, you see
When
this girl's
someone's in your
push-ups,
face
she's
yelling
going
at you,
like
they'll have a hard
an
time
inch.
doing 10, 15 push-ups, and they kind of start to quit on themselves before they need to.
You're quitting. You're not sweating. You're not putting any effort into it. You're just quitting.
So as you can see here, while they're being ITE'd, you're a couple things, right? Doesn't mean the whole group's going to get ITE'd. You just have maybe a group here that were
sitting up on his bed.
just need motivation. And then you got your RDC over here that's working with the group. I don't know what they're doing. It looks like they're teaching them. It looks like they just started wearing this uniform, and he's teaching them how to put on blousing straps maybe. And then you got a recruit up here who's to sit in his rack. He's probably SIQ. He's got a little blue sheet here, which means he probably just went to dental and got some wisdom teeth removed. So SIQ for a few days and LLD, and then they're good to go. Yeah, dental availability probably because look, there's another recruit just completely passed out. And then there's a recruit on watch here making a deck log entry. So just because you're ITing doesn't mean you need to stop training. Me personally, I was a trainer. I liked being on the floor. I loved motivating and training recruits. I loved PTing with them. I just loved seeing them improve, and I loved seeing them get good scores. And I would share those scores with them. So RCs don't do that. I just love sharing. When the recruits did well, they once got a 4.98, which is almost perfect on an inspection. I just took them to go get a phone call. Not every RDC is like that. Not every RDC doesn't mean they're bad for not doing it. It's just how I did. I did my best to try to motivate them to get buy-in to the program. I mean, they came here for a reason. It's easier to, motivate someone to want to do something than it is to make them do it. So it's, how it goes is up to you. Just make sure that you're doing it the correct way as an RDC, and as a recruit, make sure you're giving 100% effort all the time because you asked to be here. So some things to just keep in mind.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space?
Coach! Get over here. What's
So there are strict regulations on how everything belonging to a recruit is folded, stowed, and worn. So yes, there's also going to be inspections on this called DMI, Dynamic Material Inspection, and it'll get either one or two things. Either one, you'll get tested on how you follow instructions on making your rack, or you'll get tested on following instructions on folding and storing your clothes within your rack, and you have to fold them a certain way, and you have to place them a certain way. So not only is it constantly under inspection of that, but there is a graded inspection on that as well. So as an RDC, always walk your house being your compartment. Always walk your compartment, but we call it house, and just check it. Check it in the morning, check it in the middle of the day, check it before you go off to an event. As a recruit, make sure your stuff is right, you're paying attention, help out your rack mates. That's the easy way to get compartment hits, and those are the ones that hurt the most on your score. And as a recruit, you might think, I don't care about the score. Well, there's flags you earn. You get to march around with, which we'll go around here in the next video, but you get to earn those things, and display them properly. It's a pride thing. It's showing like, hey, like we're killing it, you know, we're doing really well. We get to march around with all these flags. And then on top of that, if you're constantly messing up, then you're going to get a lot of attention from your RDCs. So just keep that in mind.
What side of the open side of your pillow go to?
The open side of the right, the officer.
So why is your pillow backwards? Fix it!
So see how he's yelling at him about his pillow? You have to wait till they tell you what to do. If he points it out and you just go to fix it right away, you're probably going to get yelled at because you're doing things that he didn't tell you to do. So just be honest. You know, why is it wrong? You know, just say I made a mistake, petty officer, and then he'll tell you to fix it. Aye, petty officer, fix it.
It's the same hits every day. You both had that hit yesterday. Only one of you fixed it. Why didn't you look at it?
I didn't see it, petty officer.
Once he makes his rack, look at it for him.
So what he's doing right now, he's obviously just going over what I talked about now. There's very specific ways, even your pillow faces and how it sits on the rack and how it's there's like measurements for all this, right? And you're taught this. You're taught this for success, and then but once you're taught it, you're now held to that standard. So obviously it might be a little rough at first, but you do it every day and you maintain it all day. And then he's doing the right thing. He's saying, hey, your rack mate, the guy who probably sleeps right below him on this rack, is saying, hey, why didn't you look at his rack? You're right next to him. Help out your shipmate. Don't let him burn on his own. So as a recruit, make sure you're looking out for each other.
It's called teamwork. Figure it out.
That's been the most challenging part, is just getting along with everyone and trying to work together and putting all differences aside and understanding that we have one goal to accomplish. So some people have adjusted to that better than others.
Very good statement. You're going to be working as one team towards one goal. You're all trying to graduate, but you don't graduate as an individual. You graduate as a team. When you go to graduation, they don't call individual names except for the star recruits, the star sailors that graduated, right? The top honor rewards. But when you're going through boot camp, it's a lot of this is team graded. You can fail as an individual, which you don't want to, of course, but you can fail as a team. Every score your division gets, you get as a division, a whole group. And you're also going to be working with people that are from all around the world, of different genders, age, and different sexual orientation, different skin color, different religion, different height, whatever you want to say, different hair color, anything. They're all different. They're all from around the world. You can't have any biases. You can't have anything that doesn't fly in the Navy, and it definitely won't fly in boot camp. And throughout the Navy, you're going to be running into people of all different walks of life. You got to learn to work together. You got to learn to respect each other. It's mutual respect. You don't have to like the person next to you. You just got to understand and respect them. That's it. And so that you know that you're both just trying to get through boot camp. You're both just trying to get through a work day. You're both just trying to get home from deployment. You're both just trying to fight a fire. It's really that simple.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up.
Ooh, so this is bad. 4 recruits in Vision are caught arguing with their compartment after hours and reported to their RDC. Yeah, you're going to get outed. That might sound like the snitch, but the thing is, if you guys are being up in the middle of the night, you run pretty hard as a recruit. You're, one, probably jet lag still. 2, you're kept up on your feet for most of the day, which some people aren't used to. 3, you're PTing every day, which some people aren't used to, and you're marching, you're learning a lot of new things, so you're just, emotionally, physically, mentally tired, especially in the beginning. The last thing you want is people arguing in the middle of the night and keeping you up. You're gonna be like, yeah, hey, petty officer or chief, these guys were arguing and they kept me up at night and it sucked. It was horrible. They're just arguing with each other and we all hate it. Don't do that. There's no reason to have beef in boot camp. It's silly.
The gray area between hacker hunter is not as gray as it used to be.
Up, down, up.
So that IT session was to show them after taps they're not allowed to argue with each other, and they have to just handle things internally as a division.
What number? Then yell it. 12, 12. Do it. Do it. That's not yelling.
So obviously he's getting really up into this recruit's face, right? and she's, I don't know, maybe she's just going through it just because it's a lot being yelled at, or maybe because of she's mad that she got called out. If this is the recruit, right, that got called out, but regardless, she's obviously having a little bit of a, I don't want to say a bad attitude, but she's feeling herself a little bit with her emotions, and when that's normal, you're gonna feel that as a recruit. This is probably a new experience. Not everyone grew up getting yelled at in life. Hopefully you didn't, right? So it's definitely weird when someone gets in your face and yells at you, and you gotta understand they're not gonna yell at you for the way you look or anything like that, or the way you talk, unless you're, obviously you're supposed to sound off and you don't sound off properly, but that's different. They're gonna call you out on your character and your actions. What you do matters. What you say matters. So at this point, they're getting at him, but supposedly this is the recruit that was the argument that night. So now motivation not to do that anymore. And she's probably very upset that she got called out. She's probably very upset that she's getting yelled at in the face. She's not lashing back. She's showing great restraint, but at the same time, she is a little bit emotional. So he's calling that out. He's saying, you got to get rid of that emotion. It's not about that. It's about one team, one fight, getting through boot camp. The whole point of going to boot camp is to get out of boot camp. You need to graduate. These little things like this, though, where you get, because you're going to get told to do things in the fleet, and there's no open for argument. Sure, maybe you want to have a discussion about how you want to do things differently or better, but if someone who's in charge of you tells you to do things, you can't have an attitude about it. That doesn't fly. So she'd rather just have an attitude, and he's just calling it out, and it's okay. Work through it. Do your best. Don't lash back. Definitely don't lash back. But they'll work with you. They might even think about, I would like to challenge those that had a little bit of attitude with me and give them positions within a division of responsibility. And then they kind of take that in ownership and they grow. Everyone's the same. It didn't work all the time, but just understand, hey, as an RDC, you're going to have this problem. It's always been a problem throughout the generations, every single generation. It's not just this generation. It's our generation too, whatever you want to say. And as a recruit, don't feel yourself like that. Let it go. It's not personal. It's never personal. They're doing exactly what they need to make sure that you learn to take orders and do the right thing without having a feeling about it. There's no need to have feelings about it.
Pistol and rifle.
Yell 12! 12, petty officer. No one feels sorry for you, Coleman. No one. You want to be a part of this? You want to act like them? You're going to pay for it just like they do.
But they can't bring every situation to the RDCs, and also they can't argue with each other like they're still in high school. They need to realize that they're grown women and across the hall men, and they need to handle it amongst one another.
I don't want to hear one recruit knocking on my door telling me, see me recruit so-and-so did this. Handle it amongst yourselves like grown women. You understand?
So what he's saying, right? Like, he doesn't want to hear about it because you're going to have discourse. This is natural, right? Like I said, because of that, of everyone coming from different places, you're going to have it. And there's going to be those things where you're going to have, like, a meeting of the council, right, of recruits, and like, hey, we just need to figure this out and just squash this and move on and just graduate. You're going to have that. It happens all the time. And as an RDC, it's good when they do that. They're coming together. They're learning to deal with their problems and work as a team of people that they've never met before in their life. This is great. Encourage it. Encourage the idea that they can self-regulate, which is exactly what you do. You don't want to be on recruits all the time. It's exhausting. If they can learn to handle their own problems and then move on to where they graduate, that's great. And I would encourage it. Just also be careful that they're not trying to collaborate to do something that's against the rules.
When you come to boot camp, it's not just about me as an individual, it's about us as a team.
They're not sure who's going to step up and take leadership positions, who's going to help support those leaders. So it's just a forming stage at the very beginning of boot camp where they learn how to come together and work together.
1400, head on spot, same time entry, forward hold on spot. Understand?
I'm kind of learning leadership. There's a chain of command in our division. I am a head PO. I clean the bathrooms. I actually enjoy doing it. I actually like to keep it clean. And what I don't enjoy is people not listening to what I tell. So.
Warning, if you've been injured in a recent car accident, do not accept any settlement before using this 30-second calculator.
Get out of here, Cat.
So, two things there. One, I'm just going to go and knock this out. Yeah, kind of stinks when people don't do what they're told, huh? Yeah, I guess how it feels as an RDC when you have sometimes recruits that act out and don't do what they're told. It's like, wow, you came here, you on your own, right? Venting a little bit, but yeah, it definitely stinks. But you might think it's silly that he's the head PO, but no joke, that is an extremely important job. Underappreciated. I usually give them the praise they deserve. One, they're cleaning up the head. There's like a group of them. Usually it's like 4 or 5 of them that are with one head PO, and you got your head crew. People love inspecting the head because no one likes cleaning the head. So it's important that they're going in and they're cleaning up after you as a fellow recruit, right? And it's their job to make sure it's ready for inspection and clean at all times. Showers, sinks, urinals, toilets, doesn't matter. Floors, mirrors. They're making sure it's always on spot. The only time it's off spot is when you're taking showers, or we're doing cleaning stations for it. So other than that, it has to always. You use the head, they're gonna probably walk in after you and make sure that you wipe down the seat properly. The toilet paper is facing at 12 o'clock. The sink is clear. You didn't splash onto the mirror. You didn't drip anything on the floor. There's no, trash on the floor from you drying your hands. So he's going out and he's setting rules. Hey, he's usually setting rules to like, hey, if we just use these stalls instead, it's easier to keep clean whenever it's like off hours kind of a thing. So we don't have to clean every single stall all the time. They're gonna come with these rules. They're recruit rules. There's not real RTC rules or anything like that. So as an RTC, no, you can't really enforce that. You can't tell a recruit not to use certain heads. But if they come up with their own thing where they want to clean, utilize one head and wait in line instead of using multiple of the urinals, okay, cool, let them do it. But you can't punish them for going outside the rules. That's another in-house thing they have to figure out. So head PO, much respect. It's a very underappreciated job. And there's other jobs too, like RPOC, AROC, stuff like that.
And that's when being a team comes into part.
Make sure you only hit A, please. You're in the shower.
So we're going to go ahead and stop the video here and before we go on to the initial swim qualification. I'm going to go ahead and continue this.
Let's see. We watched. Where's the videos at? That arrival we watched. We watched part 2. Where the heck is it? Swim test, this is the next part.
When you shop in the Bonds app, you can count on us to choose fresh.
RC here, and we're going to continue the video breakdown for forming and swimming, and this part we're going to cover the swim part. So I'm going to review this video as it happens, just to let you know what they're doing as they're doing it, and then I'm going to go over suggestions for swimming and also what happens if you do not pass, which they're going to talk about here in this next little pop-up.
After this one, I'll probably end the video. I'll go outside and do some more laps. Start doing push-ups.
I barely passed the swim.
So this is a baseline.
So just real quick before they talk about they're going to talk about important information, but so I don't want to talk over him while he's talking. So as you saw, there was swimmers already in the water. There's professional divers. It's a heated pool. Well, this pool's heated. The other pool they go to afterwards is not heated. But it's a heated pool. It's a controlled environment. There's safeties all around, lifeguards, if you will. And there's people that are in the water as well. And most of these guys are either like special warfare or they're like search and rescue swimmers, which they're trained to be able to save people in the ocean during a storm with swells and cold water and, bring them back onto the boat and save their life. So heated swimming pool, I think you'll be just fine. You're in a very safe, controlled environment. Also, as you can see here, this guy got pulled to the side with the pole. He failed.
Swim test to just make sure that they have the basic skills required to survive if they were to find themselves in the ocean.
So we walk in and
So, right, this is the big jump that everyone talks about. You have to be able to jump off and swim across. I don't remember the specifics. They go over it more in the CNRC.com for this. You could also talk to your recruiter. They have the specifics as well because this train changed twice while I was in RDC, so it may have changed again. So I don't want to say specifically, but I do know that they still continue to jump off the platform and then a swim across and then a prone float. So you have to be able to just float at ease in the water. And then there's also a part where you have to get into a life raft, jump off again and get a life raft. So I personally am afraid of heights, and this didn't look very tall. And then I climbed up, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of tall. It's not extremely tall. Once again, you're just jumping into water. There's people all around you to make sure you're good to go if you freak out once you get into the water. And just it's more fun than anything than it is scary. But yeah, you're gonna have to jump off twice. And if you fail to jump and make it across, and you have a problem with jumping the part, if you fail that part, you're gonna have to do it again when you have to retake the swim test. So if you have a problem with the jumping, I would suggest once you jump in, make it across, and don't argue with the guy that's up here. Don't start a fight because you could slip, fall, hurt yourself, and then go in, and then you have a real problem. So just get up there, make the leap of faith. Everything's gonna be fine, and just swim across.
I see the platform, and I was like, okay, 10 feet is not that bad. And then you get up there and you look down and I'm like, whoa, that's 10 feet. Oh, he says, okay, step. And I kind of hesitated, and before I knew it, I was over the edge.
So there's two things. One, obviously you can jump on your own, but two, if you're like, I'm good, but I just need a little push, they'll just they won't shove you off. They kind of like push you a little bit, just kind of more of like a guiding. And I remember when I went through boot camp, I was like, I know how to swim. I was a good swimmer, but I was afraid of heights. And I was getting ready and I was going, and then he gave me a little push, and I was like, okay, let's go. So it is actually a little more motivating than it is like push off and it's like, go swim. It's
I was just giving some advice at the beginning,
but yeah, they're not just going to shove you into the water. It's like she said too, like 10 feet not that bad, and then you get up there and it's like, whoa. You can also think that it's 10 feet plus. It's 10 feet from your feet, so whatever your height is. So if you're 5 foot, it's 15 feet from where your eyes are. So it seems way higher up than it really is.
After this,
so once I finally got out of
do
the
some
pool and made my
push-ups and
swim, I
walk
was like,
around the
okay,
apartment
great.
complex.
The worst part is over. And then we go to the other side, we have to jump off again. And I was like, man, why didn't they tell us this before we joined? I would have reconsidered that.
Yeah, but this part's a little easier, as you can see, because they're wearing life vests, and they work extremely well. You will be floating. It's more so you just got to jump in, swim to a point, and then get into the life raft. This part's actually pretty easy, and at this point, it's just fun.
But I passed. But he did inform me that I needed to swim lessons.
It doesn't look as high as it is, and it's not the fact that you're like, I'm afraid of heights, but it's the feeling. Yeah, it's the feeling your stomach gets when you drop. You have to hold on.
So what he's getting at is 10 feet isn't very high, but it's long enough that you are completely weightless. And then obviously you can't jump 10 feet, so it's a long distance to go if you've never fallen that far before, or maybe jumped off a diving board. So if you're afraid of heights or new to swimming, it does feel weird. Also, if you're never ever swum before, I highly suggest going to like a local YMCA or something and getting some swim lessons. They'll talk about it later here, but they say that they do remedial swimming, but they are not giving the full swim lessons that you would get if you were to go pay for them, or free swim lessons you would get, or if a friend could teach you how to swim and give you in-depth. They're going to give you enough training just so you can pass. And sometimes that's not good enough for certain people who need a little extra one-on-one that you get from a friend or from an instructor. And then, yeah, you could possibly get kicked out for it.
It's an inflatable boat, and everybody has to get in it one by one, and the water was really cold. But it was quick, it was fast, and I really enjoyed jumping off the tower.
Yeah, that was not fun. I did not enjoy that. Other people said that they loved it. I hope I don't go overboard.
Can you believe that this guy in this picture is me? No. I didn't realize how bad my hair loss was until I've seen.
It's pretty bad, brother.
Yeah, so if you're a good swimmer and you're not really afraid of heights, then it's gonna be fun, right? You're not gonna be able to play around. They're gonna tell you, hey, jump in the water, swim across, and then so you have to jump in the water, swim across. Sure, it's nice. It breaks it up, and it actually happens pretty early in training. I believe the first week, so somewhere like 1-3 day of training, and yeah, it's fun if you know how to swim and you like swimming in pools, and it's a nice little break, and it can be fun. Just do exactly what they tell you to do, though, or they could fail you if you and don't mess around. Or it could be boring because you're like, oh, I just jump in the water and I was in it for 5 minutes and I was out. Then great. The point's not for you to have fun. If you do have to have fun along the way, then great. But the important part is that you pass and continue. So for the swimming, so this is first for recruits, and I'll talk about the RDC side. For recruit, if you fail, your RDC will send you to try again, again, and again as many days as they can, up to a certain point of training, of which if you did not pass by then, you will get ASMO'd. Or if you're to, because there's multiple phases, right? There's the swim, the prone, and then the there's like 3 stamps you need to get, and I forget what the third one is.
I always forget what ASMO'd means. Let's look it up. Assignment Memorandum Order. The Navy uses ASMO code to track personnel movement and assignments to Recruit Training Command. What the hell? All right. Oh no, I don't want. I want. Yeah. So you get ASMO back, I guess, and you got to redo all your stuff again.
And that was at the time that I was there. So there's 3 parts you have to pass. If you just need to pass that last part, they might send you to a division to where you just go swim every single day, and that's all you do in that division. It's a division of people that can't swim. Then you pass, and they drop you into a division where you were in training or close to it, so that you can graduate. But if you're like you haven't passed anything at all, and you're also given a certain amount of time when you're in that division as well, then that's it. You're out. You have to be able to do the basic swim. They're not looking for Olympic swimmers. They're literally looking at, can you swim to your survival? If you were to jump out of a boat, could you swim to a life raft? If you had to float a little bit while other people are being loaded in, can you float for like 3 minutes? That's it. They're not asking you to do rescue swimming or anything like that. And if you're going to be a rescue swimmer, then hopefully you know how to swim then. That would be a prerequisite for that. You also have to have like a higher class of swimming. So yeah, I would highly recommend that you get some training ahead of time or some lessons, or have a friend take you into a pool and just go over it. Just get at least comfortable enough that you can do the basics and float. That would be miles above being and not being able to swim. If you could just learn to at least be comfortable to float in water and kind of paddle around a little bit, that would be huge. But constantly going every day until you pass means that you might miss things. You might miss PT. You might actually end up missing training. You might miss something that you have to make up with a recruit instead of the RDC one-on-one. So it can affect your training. It could, to the point that you might have to get set back, not only because you're not passing the swim, but because you missed an evolution. So, and as an RDC, you need to be able to send someone to go swimming. So they're going to ask you questions. You might actually get in trouble for that. It's important that you at least afford them the environment of the things. If you're doing the right thing, seen it. You know, they improved by 30 seconds in one day.
That's a lot about swimming. Alrighty, I am going to end this video here. I'm gonna go walk around. I'm going to what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna walk a mile, and then at my apartment complex, that's 3 laps around the buildings, and each lap I come back to my apartment, I will do between 20 and 30 push-ups every time I walk around. I might do that a couple times today. I've already walked a mile, but this time I'm going to add push-ups every time I get back to the front of my apartment. And I'll do that every day that I can, leading up to boot camp. That way I'll be able to do my test. All right? All right. Thank you guys for joining. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. If you stayed here this long, put type anchors away in the chat just so I know who the real homies are. All right, guys. Peace out.